I stood outside the locked door on the second floor of my own home, listening to a noise that absolutely shouldn't have been there. Downstairs, Amanda's voice rose in frantic panic. "James, don't go up there. It's just a storage room." But my decision was already made. When I broke the lock and pushed the door open, what I saw inside didn't just destroy my marriage. It exposed a level of deception so deliberate that it shattered everything I believed about the woman I had loved for years. If you want to know what was hidden in that room, and how Amanda kept the truth buried for 2 entire years, stay with me. Because this story gets far darker than anything you can imagine. My name is James Mitchell. 2 years earlier, I accepted a contract job in Singapore as a civil engineer. Amanda and I had been married 3 years at the time, and we both agreed this opportunity would secure our finances for the family we planned to build. "These 2 years will pass fast," she told me at the airport. "We'll video call every day. Nothing between us will change." And for 730 days, we did exactly that. Every day, without fail. I believed our relationship had grown stronger, proof that distance couldn't shake real love. I returned home 3 weeks earlier than planned, hoping to surprise her. But the moment I stepped inside, she froze in the hallway like she'd been caught doing something she shouldn't. James, you're home early." Her smile looked forced, her eyes tense. When I hugged her, her entire body felt stiff, defensive. And the house, it was spotless. Almost unnaturally spotless, as if she had scrubbed away evidence of something. Living with her felt strange. Like Amanda was still there, but not really present. She hovered around me constantly, almost anxiously, always putting herself between me and certain parts of the house. "Please don't go into the spare room upstairs," she'd repeat. "I've been storing things there. I'll clean it up later." But the weekend passed, then another. The door stayed locked. Then the small things began piling up. A faint smell of baby powder in the hallway. Mail addressed to Amanda and family. Her phone, once casually left on counters, was now password protected and glued to her palm. She'd lost noticeable weight, yet she looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes like she hadn't slept properly in months. And the neighbors, they looked at me strangely, almost nervously. Mrs. Chun from across the street waved at me with a confused expression, like she was seeing someone who shouldn't be there. On day 12, everything changed. Down in the basement, I found a baby bottle sterilizer. Still plugged in. Still warm. My stomach dropped. I checked our credit card statements and found page after page of purchases from baby stores, pediatric clinics, and infant supply shops. When I confronted Amanda with the sterilizer, she went paper white. I'm buying baby shower gift for co-workers," she stammered. "You bought a sterilizer as a gift." "It was on sale," she whispered, voice cracking. "I was planning to donate it." She snatched the device from my hands and shoved it into a cabinet like she needed it out of sight immediately. That night, around 2 a.m., I heard something that froze my heart. A soft crackling sound, like a baby monitor, coming from behind the locked spare room door. Why would Amanda need a baby monitor in a so-called storage room? The next morning, after she left for work, I walked across the street to speak with Mrs. Chen, the elderly retired nurse who had lived there for decades. If anyone knew what was happening, it would be her. When she opened the door, guilt flickered across her face. "James, I thought you already knew," she said slowly. "I assumed that's why you came back." "Knew what?" She exhaled shakily. Amanda was expecting, very visibly pregnant. 9, almost 10 months ago. And about 7 months back, I saw her pushing a stroller. A baby girl. Beautiful child. My mind spun. "That's impossible," I whispered. I video called her every single day. Loose clothes. Convenient camera angles. Bad lighting excuses. Everything crashed into place at once. Mrs. Chen rested a gentle hand on mine. "I thought maybe it was a surrogate, but when you came back so shocked, I realized you didn't know a thing." I went straight to the attic. Behind boxes of Christmas decorations, I found cartons labeled donations, filled with maternity clothes, prenatal vitamins, and a hospital bracelet with Amanda's name. 7 months old. Then I found a folder. Inside were ultrasound images and a copy of a birth certificate. Baby girl, Emma Rose Chun. Mother, Amanda Mitchell. Father, Marcus Chun. Marcus, Amanda's colleague from her architectural firm, a married man I had met once at a holiday party. I collapsed onto the attic floor, surrounded by evidence of the life my wife had lived behind my back, a life she'd hidden with military precision. Something inside me broke. That evening, I waited on the couch for her to return. "I need you to unlock the spare room," I said calmly. "What? Why?" "James, I told you. Open it, now, or I break the door myself." Her face fell apart. "James, please, can we just talk about this?" "Open the door, Amanda." She burst into tears but didn't move. So I walked to the garage, grabbed a hammer, and headed upstairs. She followed me, begging through sobs. I raised the hammer and swung. The lock snapped on my third swing. When the door finally gave way, I froze. Inside wasn't a storage space at all. It was a complete nursery. A white crib dress with soft pink blankets. A changing station filled with diapers and wipes. Shelves stacked neatly with tiny clothes arranged by age. A rocking chair in the corner. And covering the walls, dozens of photos. Pictures of Amanda holding a little girl. Images from newborn days up to roughly 8 months old. This wasn't clutter. This was a hidden world. A sanctuary for the child she'd kept secret from me. "Where is she?" I asked, though my voice sounded distant. "Hello." Amanda collapsed in the hallway, sobbing uncontrollably. And then she told me everything. After I left for Singapore, loneliness crept in. Marcus, who was having problems in his own marriage, became her emotional support. Lunch breaks turned into outings. Outings turned into drinks. And eventually, they crossed the line. 3 months into their affair, she found out she was pregnant. She concealed the entire pregnancy from me using carefully positioned cameras on our calls and oversized clothing. To everyone else, neighbors, co-workers, she claimed I knew everything, even saying we'd undergone fertility treatments. 7 months ago, she gave birth. Marcus stood beside her in the delivery room. His name went on the birth certificate. The baby girl, Emma, stayed with Marcus during the week while his wife believed he was caring for his sick mother. Amanda visited after wake, pretending she was a hired babysitter. The nursery in our home was for the weekends when Marcus's wife traveled. "Where is Emma now?" I asked quietly. "With Marcus. His wife's out of town." I didn't answer. I simply grabbed my keys and walked out the door. When I reached Marcus Chun's house, I rang the doorbell. He opened it with Emma in his arms. The child who should never have existed. His face drained of color. James, is Amanda with you?" "No," I said, "but you and I need to talk." For an hour, Marcus told me everything. How he and Amanda believed they'd fallen in love. How he'd wanted to leave his wife but couldn't because of their teenage kids. And how they planned to tell me eventually, to convince me to help raise Emma as if she were mine. "You too have lost your minds," I said, and then the door opened behind him. His wife, Patricia, stepped inside. She'd returned early because her sister suddenly fell ill. She froze at the sight, her husband holding a baby she didn't recognize. Me, a stranger standing in her living room, the dread and guilt on Marcus's face. Who is that child?" she whispered. In that moment, both of our lives detonated. I filed for divorce immediately, with every piece of evidence I had. The nursery, the birth certificate, Amanda's confession. Patricia filed on the same day. Marcus's teenage children soon learned their father had been living a life none of them knew about. Amanda lost everything. I kept the house. She was fired from a job for an affair with a co-worker, and her own family cut ties with her. Marcus's marriage collapsed. His relationship with his children fractured. Half his assets gone. Emma became the center of a brutal custody fight between Marcus and Patricia. Amanda was granted only supervised visits. 8 months had passed since I opened that door. I moved to a new city. Started over. Began therapy twice weekly. But some nights, sleep still refuses to come. I lie awake thinking about those 730 video calls. Every "I love you" spoken while she carried another man's child. Every "nothing has changed" while she built a nursery in a room I wasn't allowed to enter. The pain wasn't only the affair or the baby. It was the careful, meticulous deception. She would have let me raise another man's daughter without ever knowing the truth. Last week, Amanda sent a letter, an apology, a plea for forgiveness someday. I didn't answer. Some betrayals reach so deep that sorry can't touch them. Some lies destroy not just trust, but the ability to trust again. So if you're listening to this and something in your relationship feels wrong, pay attention. Look into those closed-off places. Check the doors that stay locked, both in your home and in your partner's behavior. The biggest betrayals don't advertise themselves. They hide behind passwords, tight smiles, carefully angled cameras, and rooms you're told not to enter. Amanda didn't just keep a child hidden. She hid the truth about who she really was. If this story shook you, share it. Leave a comment below. Have you ever uncovered a truth that changed everything? Because sometimes the most dangerous secrets live in the rooms we're warned to stay away from.